that when you advocate for yourself and like reach out to a teacher about something that you want to learn more about or something that you're struggling about, I've learned that that's like inspired the teacher to want to teach you. Like by showing the teacher that you're engaging with the material and that you're trying to learn, that just inspires the teacher to teach you.
It gets you to look at history in almost a very Montessori way of looking in the greater context of history, right? Like why you should care about history, not just here's some facts, blah blah blah. Sumerian votive. It's like here's this really interesting thing from 2,500 years ago. Here's why you should care, right?
Frankly, there wasn't really a lot of homework here, so it didn't really prepare me that much for the amount of homework that's in middle school. Like the only homework we really had is like practicing for spelling and word wise, so there wasn't really that much homework, but I did get from my parents that there would be a lot of homework, so I did prepare myself, and it turns out there was quite a bit of homework. But I was able to figure out a system that works for me that I still use, and it still works out, and yeah, I've been able to figure it out. Figured out how to do the homework and how to manage it all.
But I think at the same time, MCH does a really good job of preparing you for like the time management skills that you're going to need. I remember daily planning. Now, being at MCH, I hated daily planning so much. The fact that you had to prioritize all of the things that you wanted to do, and you had to go and get it checked off. And now, sitting here, I realized that those daily planning skills actually helped me a lot, and if I utilized them more, then maybe I wouldn't be so stressed all the time.
Yeah. My most vivid memory from my entire time at MCH is when we were just into this new building. We had this beautiful new building with this beautiful new playground, with these beautiful, horrible wood chips. And we decided to do PE there.
Oh no.
And everybody was covered in tiny little stickers. Tiny little thorns that got everywhere.
Oh, no.
And I will never forget it.
I think perhaps my favorite memory was when we went up to the woods back there and built shelters during PE. We spent like 2 months just being out in the woods, like collecting materials.
We went feral.
And I remember we found we found this like fallen log with like a tree against it, and we were able to like build up over a while like sticks on top of these like branches that had fallen down. And I just remember so clearly like the experience of being outside in the cold and like building those shelters. And when we were done and that period was over, that unit was over, I was like so satisfied with myself, and I was like, wow, I built something. That was amazing.
My favorite memory was the great math year. It was the same time as them, but for me it was 4th grade. I learned so many new things from that year, like some very important stuff that still sticks to this day, like decimals and fractions and like some very important things.
I would say definitely something that stands out was when I was in Miss Jessie's class and we had Spike and we had a lot of always taking care of different animals, especially him, and all the goats, and how we would go outside and do like experiential learning on the nature trail, and we'd spend a lot of time outside with the animals, and that's definitely something that I would take away. Yeah, I feel like it was like the social emotional learning was something that we just learned throughout my entire experience at MCH. And when I transferred to my middle school, I remember we'd have dedicated lessons, and I'd be like, Mom, I don't need any of this, because like throughout all of MCH, this is just things that we learned, and I was like, this is common sense, why are we learning all of this? And I always would reach out to people, and we'd learn how to look at facial expressions and different things like that.
MCH kind of really prepared me with problem-solving skills. In like the classroom, if there were like small arguments, like nothing huge, just like a tiny little fight, students would like figure that part out, and then if it escalated, an adult would come and be like, calm down guys, it's okay. But just like getting to be through like problem solving yourself instead of having someone do it for you really helped in middle school.
Yeah, I don't think you realize how much those skills, like how important those skills that you learn at MCH are until you go into an environment where other people don't have that skill. And I think like the most important thing didn't come so much from like, well, it came from like the learning that we did, but also just like the sense of community that we had, like really affected my attitude towards other people going forward. And so, like going into middle school, I met all of these people who had like a really like set idea of a social hierarchy. And like this idea, it wasn't foreign to me. Like I knew that this kind of thing existed, but I also think like as a person, not having that at MCH made me more able to like, I guess, be fluid throughout the social hierarchy. And at this point, I like to think that I contributed to the fact that my grade doesn't really have that compared to other grades.
Like I mean, in our classes, no one's allowed to have phones, so that like contributes a bit. But also that it's like a different experience when you talk face to face than texting.
I always need to be moving, and especially the later years of middle school and high school, we don't really have that time. So that was definitely a transition for me and having to find outlets for that.
I miss comfortable chairs.
Like, to be honest, I guess I didn't notice the absence of recess so much, but I guess that's because I was like an extremely active person during recess. But like, especially in middle school, you gain this independence to like move around during lunch, so you don't really notice it as much because you can make the choice to like finish eating and then go play outside or something.
And I feel like I'm the only one with my head up, actually knowing where I'm going.
More ways than one. There's a good metaphor.